Okay, so it's really gotten down to a situation where you can't really say that these things are not happening. Like, I mean, when I say the receipts are piling up, the facts are all showing through, it just kind of just is what it is, and it's gotten to a point of where are we going from here? That's what I'm looking at. Where are we going from here? And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of Potomac. Michael Darby. Child, what's going on? What is going on? So listen, so the charges on Michael have been thrown out. And then you gotta see them like panning around to the ladies' houses, and they're basically saying, well, you know, duh. And Robin really brings it on through and says, child, you know what it means, honey. It means, you know, when the charges are thrown out, which means, did we settle? What did we do? Because it, you know, just because the charges are thrown out doesn't mean that shit didn't pop off. Okay, so Michael basically is saying that he bumped into the cameraman and the cameraman just flipped out. Nobody believes it. Nobody believes it. And then as we moved forward, you know, because now, in all honesty, there are people who are shady. There are people who are shady who will look at some things and try to use it as a come up. And everybody don't think, you know, everybody doesn't think that gay people are the tea. Everybody doesn't think that we're the greatest, you know, friends that there are out there. Everybody is not an ally of the LGBTIQ. You have that. And let's face it, Michael has money. Michael has money, and if you could actually pin him to the wall and get your hands on it, you have to admit there are people out there like that. But do I think that this is actually what's happening in this situation? I don't. First of all, Michael doesn't claim to be part of the LGBTQIA community. So let's just take us out of it altogether. Because we ain't getting ready to stand behind Michael anyway. Because as far as we know, he's not one of us. So he's kind of on his own with his thing. So that ain't our problem. The other thing is past behaviors. Past behaviors are saying things that make you go, Okay? Past behaviors. Past behaviors. So let's just talk about it, and then I'm going to get to the point that actually put me in the position that I'm in, because I haven't really taken a position on this, you know, before now. I just kind of was like, yeah, okay, whatever, this is what's going on. And I've been focusing really on what the girls are doing in their little, you know, nonsensical garbage that they go through. But I got a stance today. So anyway, let's talk about the show. All right, so first things first, Karen's daughter, we found out that Karen's daughter actually sang Amazing Grace at the grandmother's funeral. And I was laughing because Karen was saying, of course, you know, nobody could actually tape her. Oh, honey, come on down to the ghetto for a little bit. People tape everything, honey. Somebody probably has it on tape. You just don't know it. Somebody probably hit their phone out. But anyway, Karen has, we didn't know it, or I didn't know it, she has forged a friendship with Macy Gray. Love Macy Gray. But yeah, she has become very cool with Macy Gray, and she talked to Macy about working with her daughter. And I was like, well, that's really cool. You know what I mean? And again, this is the things that are supposed to happen with these reality shows. You are supposed to milk it for everything you can get out of it because your time on there is limited. So by all means, later in the show, we actually see Macy Gray. The child Macy was looking, she looked a girl, her head was a wreck. I said, come on, Macy. But that's Macy, that's her. That's part of why we love her. She don't give a shit. She don't give a shit. Her hair was a mess. Her hair was a mess. She looked like she's on her way down to the Target or to the Walmarts. She didn't give a shit. But extremely talented, baby. She opened that mouth, honey, and you forget that her head was a mess and that them glasses are ridiculous. You forget all of that. And when they actually snatch Macy and put her together, Macy be sharp. Because she really is a sharp-ass woman. She's sharp as she can be. But she just don't give a shit. Macy Gray and I'm going off topic, I don't care. We'll come back, I don't care. Just come with me, follow me. Come with me, my loves. Anyway, Macy Gray reminds me, and tell me in the comments if any of you have ever thought this, or once I say this, do you agree with this? Macy Gray reminds me of the Whoopi Goldberg of the music industry. How Whoopi just got her own lane, but she's hella talented, so it doesn't matter what she puts on or how she presents herself. Her talent speaks for herself, and she is respected because of her talent. She has truly gained everyone's respect and admiration because of her talent, and you don't see that all the time. But she has truly made people love her because of how talented and how intelligent she is and what she does, not how she looks. Macy Gray, same thing. Doesn't give a shit about what she looks like or how she presents herself, but her talent just stands up by itself. She has the respect of millions because of her talent. Sheerly on her talent, not her looks. It's her talent. So that was, just put it in the comments. Let me know what if you never thought about that, do you agree with what I'm saying? Or have you actually ever thought of that? Whoopi Goldberg and Macy Gray, like the same person, but one in the music and one in the movies and television. All right, bam, and I'm back. Let's go. Okay, so Raven got into the studio with Macy Gray, which was like a once in a lifetime thing. Something that somebody else would die to have happen. But she laid the track down for Karen's personal, for her personal use of her doing Amazing Grace. And it turned out good. It really did. It sounds good. It sounds good. So I thought that was cool, and I loved seeing that. I thought that was cool. Okay, so Ashley. Let's go back to Ashley. Ashley and Monique were together. Monique was actually in the studio as well. She's working on her podcast and all of that. And it came out that Ashley told Monique, yeah, Candace basically said that, you were reveling in my misfortune. And the thing was that Monique was actually saying it about the other women, and it just came full circle. She's like, well, girl, that's what Candace said about you. I was like, uh-huh. See? And it's so funny because if you were to sit down with Monique and say to Monique, the way you all talk about each other, oh no, I'm going to talk about people. You were in the midst of talking about the other women as a collective, and then Ashley brought it back to you. Well, bitch, that's what they said about you. This is what this one specific person said about you. And I was like, child, you all are just guilty of not being real friends to yourselves. None of you all. Like, I don't know that any of you all are actually friends to each other than Robin friends with Giselle. Because Robin will walk in front of a bus for Giselle. Stupid girl. But whatever. Anyway, so when that happened, baby, the gloves were off. Honey, Monique bust her phone out and politely gave all the receipts, baby. She literally opened her text messages for Ashley and said, oh no, baby, go ahead. You can scroll. I said, oh, gloves off. Gloves off. I said, oh well, it is what it is. She got an eye for honey. I said, Anyway, let's go over here to this little girls' night they had over at Robin's. Listen. Y'all, somebody needs to get Katie and get her wig together. I looked at her head. If Katie didn't have this old Pebbles throwback to the video shoot for Girlfriend, I said, but it was sharp because, that was like Pebbles' hair, and, they added some stuff to it. But it looked like whatever they had added, they had put it in a box, and it's been sitting around there since, 82, 83, under a bed, and ain't nobody shook that box in a while, and Katie found it and said, baby, I'm wearing this. And she had that wig on, baby, and she was up in there drinking her drinks of champagne and giving honey, treat ya, baby, don't be sad now. I said, girl, you look a mess. She looks terrible. She really do. And this is the thing. Katie is like so cool. Like, I wasn't a fan of Katie's at all. In the first season of this, when she was a regular, main character back in the day, I wasn't a fan of hers. I thought she was a kook job, and she was crazy. She was a messy as hell. And now she's come back. Is it me, or does Katie seem like she's losing her mind? It just seems like she is losing her mind. But okay, whatever. I'm here for it. I'm going to watch her do it. But she need to go ahead with the more dusty wigs. That wig was a mess. It was an old wig. They don't even make wigs like that no more. It was just as thick, and you can see all of these tracks from here up were sewn going this way, and they were thick. I said, girl, that ain't no new wig. They don't even make wigs like that anymore. The whole process of making wigs has changed. That wig is as old. It's older than my kids, I promise you. That's an old ass wig. It was horrible. And I believe that one came from down at Mrs. Kim's Boots and Auto Body Shop. That's horrible. I sure did, honey. That was horrible. Anyway. So, Katie had made a comment. I said, here we go again with these comments. They always got these little off-color comments at these little parties they be throwing. Didn't Katie sit right on up there, baby, and said, oh, I would totally do a threesome with you all, talking about Robin and Juan. Honey, and Juan was just coming into the room and overheard it. And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, I see the worker is. Robin was like, what is wrong with these people? Girl, the worker is, you better pay attention, because Juan will be the went over and knocked her off, honey. But anyway, I was like, oh my God. I said, girl, I said, Juan, you might as well stay on the show, baby. You're the hot thing. Child, you are the Real Housewives of Potomac hot dick daddy. Anyway, everybody want a little piece of Juan, honey. So, listen. So then they're sitting there talking, and they end up getting on to Ashley. Katie says that her and her boyfriend Jacob had actually gone to a double date with Michael and Ashley. And during that date, Michael had, and this was just a few weeks before this, Michael had made an off-color comment to Jacob. He said something about, when I make a phone call, when I call over to Katie, I expect you to pick up the phone on your private line or some shit. Some old salacious, undercover, how you doing mess. I said, And Jacob felt as though Michael was flirting with him too. Well, that's what he was doing. I said, baby, Michael don't play. Michael is serious, honey. She's a headhunter, Miss Michael. Girl, Miss Thing. I'm seeing you, Miss Michael. I see you, girl. And girl, you're a headhunter, bitch, and you don't play. Girl, you are after the boys. You spooking the trade, girl, and carrying on. Listen. Anyway, moving on, because I'm going to go too deep. Anyhow, Ashley Just clueless. And Katie said, crazy Katie, I told you, I think she's losing her mind. But Katie said, I just think that Ashley's stupid. Flat out. I said, well, girl, tell her what you really think, honey. I just think she's stupid. And she just don't even realize what's going on. That her damn man is ahead at her, honey. I said, that's a whole mess. I can keep though. But yeah, so more Michael stories. Anyway, let's move on. Chris and Monique were actually talking. And Chris was telling Monique, something's going on with you and Candace and y'all's little friendship, but you need to fix it. You need to fix it. I like Chris and Candace. And, I like them. And Monique was telling them basically what had happened and with Ashley and all of that. And she's like, yeah, you like Chris and Candace now until you make some type of comment in front of Chris. I was like, oh, damn. So now y'all get ready to drag Chris. Now, Candace's behavior is questionable and she's shady. But Chris ain't did nothing about it, child. Y'all dragging Chris. Now, it's like she don't trust Chris or Candace, which I understand. I mean, I understand it, but damn, poor Chris. You're going to get a bad rap for being a bitch dude, and you need to get your wife under control too. Anyway, so let's go. We have this last thing was this party for Juan. It was Juan's 40th birthday party. And we see Michael and Ashley. They're on the way to the party. And he was saying, how he's not feeling any of the people in the group, really. He ain't really feeling them. And he's literally coming there basically because he misses spending time with Juan. I said, oh, what are we going to get, honey? I said, baby, you want some Juan so bad. And that's the way it comes across. You want some of Juan so bad, baby, you could taste it on the tip of your tongue. I'm just Juan, honey. Juan. I said, girl, it's getting bad for you, ain't it, Miss Michael? Well, you got you a taste for Juan, honey. You got you a taste for the... Anyway, shut up, James. Anyway, shut up. I'm stop, y'all. Anyway, Juan, you a danger boy. Anyway, so he got this whole Juan thing, honey. Robin, bitch, you're a non-motherfucking factor at this point, bitch. You ain't even competition, bitch. Michael ain't thinking about you, Robin, bitch. Anyway, okay, stop. Let me go. Robin. Girl. Anyhow, so they get to the party, and I done got tickled, child. They get over here to this little party, child, and Giselle's there with her goofy ass. She's so shady. She just go right into it. She don't even know how to handle herself. It was like this little awkward silence when they walked up to her. She's the first one there. And she rolled, it was like, so what's up? What happened? And she just, no couth, no tact. I'm like, girl, like seriously? You, after all these years of being married to Jamal Bryant and all of that, you were first lady, you don't have any tact, none. She goes right on into what it is, and she's like, so high five on no charges, hey. And Michael gave her, bitch, pay her dust. I said, oh. he handled her like a real queen would, honey. Dust. Him and Ash, that's the look at them two, honey. Dust. And then after that, Chris and Candace show up. The Darbys just paid them complete shade and dust, honey. Didn't even speak. I said, oh, okay, well, we know where they stand. Again, I understand it. I understood it, and I don't know why Candace and Chris didn't understand it. You all should have. You should have understood it. And I think it was more so for Candace. It wasn't really for Chris, because Michael Darby likes the boys. And I know good and well, if you want a piece of Juan, baby, you've been paying attention, because you should go on and get you a piece of Chris too. Because the two things on this show that's worth sinking your teeth into is Juan and Chris. Come on, Michael. I know you understand, and he probably won't see this, but if you do see this, Michael, sis, you know what I'm talking about. The two tastiest things on this show is Chris and Juan. And not Chris, Monique's husband. No thanks. Chris and Juan. Baby Robin and Candace, you bitches is in danger. Anyway. So he paid them dust. And that was that. Then whenever, everybody else starts showing up, Juan, and it says a lot about Juan's character because Juan is a black man, and you all know why I'm saying that. Black men don't do well with this kind of shit. They don't. They just don't do well. There's some who do extremely well, who are very, very secure in their masculinity and in their sexuality, and they don't give a shit about stuff like that. And they don't pay that shit no attention. And then there's the other fragiles who get all bent out of shape and they really don't know how to handle themselves, and that's because they have some questions. Some of them have some questions. And then there's some who were just raised in a way that's what they believe they're supposed to be defensive and asshole-ish when it comes to that stuff. So you have that in the fragiles. So anyway, okay. And listen to what I'm saying when I say that, because nobody is supposed to make you uncomfortable. Okay? So, and that's not, this doesn't have, it really doesn't have to do with sexuality at all. It doesn't have to do with a gay thing or a heterosexual thing. Nobody is really supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's wrong. It is wrong to push yourself upon a person to the point where they become uncomfortable. Okay? But it's no different than a male and female situation. A male and male situation, a female and female situation is the exact same thing. You cannot and you have no control over who's attracted to you. You don't. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, quite honestly, there is nothing you can do about someone being attracted to you, whether they be of the opposite sex, of the same sex. You have no control over that. That's not your issue. That's where that whole thing of what you think about me is not my business. It's not. Now, how you approach me with it, that's when it becomes my business. And that's when I have to deal with you accordingly. So you don't, even heterosexual men out there don't have any control over a homosexual man or period. We'll just say homosexual. We ain't gonna break it down into bis and tris and flies. We ain't doing all that. When someone of the same sex is attracted to you, there's nothing that you can do about it. Literally. But nothing you can do about it. The thing is, they don't have the right to use that and make you uncomfortable. They don't. And it's the same thing with a man and a woman. If you make an advance toward a woman, males, you make an advance toward a woman and she's not receptive to it, it's your job to let it go and move on. Same thing. If you're gay and you make an advance, or if you're a heterosexual male or female and someone of the same sex makes an advance, all you can do is say, I'm not really interested. And that's it. You ain't even got to go into all of the, I don't swing that way, and you ain't got to do all that. It's the exact same thing. It's human. It's being an adult. You have no control over who has an attraction to you. Your thing is, you just say, hey, thank you, but I'm not interested. And it doesn't matter why you're not interested. You don't need to go into a whole, that's where people get into all these problems. Rappers, and I know I'm getting off topic again, and I don't care. Just listen. Come with me, my loves. I feel like talking to them. So, like the rappers, they get into all this shit. You know good and well that your ass got fans out there that are homosexual. So if they say, oh, I just love you, or, you know, whatever it is, they make an advance. All you need to do is say, I'm not interested, thank you, I'm not interested, and keep it moving. But you all don't know how to do that. No, some of y'all got to go into all this shit and all these rants, and you got to get on your social media and talk shit, and I don't swing that way and all that. And what does it get you? Don't it always get you in trouble? Don't it always get, I mean, come on now. Doesn't it always get you in trouble? You think that it makes you big man on time. Oh, you went off on the sissies. And then what happens? Your record sales and your ticket sales start going down. Duh. It gets you in trouble with the whole rest of your fan base that is homosexual. And it's not because you deflected in advance. It's because you then started spewing hate and rhetoric you start throwing stones that hit a whole community of people. And it's not just your gay fans that you mess up with. There's some allies that you mess up with, because where there's gays, there are females that love those gays. And when you throw stones at them as a whole, you hit those females too. Wouldn't it just be so much easier to say, well, you know, thanks, man, but I'm not interested, and then you leave it alone. You kept that person as a fan for the most part. You know what I mean? Because chances are they'll still be a fan. And you didn't hurt anybody else. You didn't offend anybody else. And you keep all your money exactly where it's supposed to be. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking sense to you. It's one person, and even if that person don't take it and they don't like it and they leave, isn't it better to lose one fan as opposed to a group of fans? Listen, I don't know about you, but I don't even have a huge platform. I have a decent platform that I work from, and I would prefer to lose one subscriber or 2 subscribers as opposed to 200 subscribers, because I want to be big man on film. I ain't got time. Not at all. Not at all. So, like I said, just chill out. You got no control over it. You have no control over it. It is what it is. So, okay, but bam it, and I'm back. Juan, this is what I was talking about. Juan basically embraced Michael at the party, treated him real nice, and I was wondering at that point, so I wonder if Juan actually knows what all's going on, because I've said in another video this season, I want to see how Juan's going to act when he finds out what's going on, because that was going to tell me who Juan is as a person, who Juan actually is as a person. And who Juan is as a person, I dig it. I don't find Juan to be, Juan is a heterosexual male. And this is in my eyes. Juan is a heterosexual male who is very comfortable with his sexuality, very comfortable with who Juan is. You understand me? Knows exactly what he wants and how he wants to do it. Do I agree with every move he makes? No, because he could be a bit of an asshole. He thinks a lot of himself. He's very aware, like I said, of who he is, and he looks in the mirror and he knows what he's working with. So this is who Juan is. And the way he dealt with Michael, he wasn't uncomfortable with Michael. You know, he went with Michael the exact same way as he's always gone with Michael, even before this stuff happened. You know, he wasn't no less touchy with Michael than with the other guys. He wasn't standoffish. I watched his body language. Everything was everything. Juan don't give a shit. Juan is just who Juan is. He ain't with it, but he ain't bothered and he ain't moved by it. And this, overall, tells you that Juan is a keeper. Maybe not for Robin, but for somebody. Juan is, you know, he's a dude. That's a dude. That's a comfortable man. A man that is comfortable with himself. And I'm going to give Chris the same thing, because even after they separated out and all the guys were together, they were still vibing. Chris wasn't standoffish of Michael or anything like that. He was just vibing and cool and everything was fine and didn't feel all that uncomfortable or anything around Michael. Everything was everything, like nothing had happened. So I have the utmost respect for the gentleman on this show. And I'm even going to say the same for Chris, that is Monique's husband, because I think he's a person that was raised in a different fashion. I think that Monique's husband, Chris, was definitely raised with the attitude to snap out and that kind of thing. But he is polished enough to be able to keep it together, and I think he is smart enough to where maybe he's moved beyond that and he's very comfortable with himself. But, it makes him, I can see a little bit in some of his things, the whole subject makes him a little bit uneasy, but he has a polish and a gentlemanly sense to be able to handle it and handle it decent. And I get the feeling that Chris's conversation would be different at a kitchen table setting with his friends. I think you would probably get the rhetoric, but I'm going to still give it to you because it's cool for me to say what you say where I don't hear, don't bother me. But the way he handles it in the public eye, hats off to that Chris too. So I definitely have a lot of respect for the gentleman of Real Housewives of Potomac on this, because I've been watching you all with a peeled eye to see who was going to be what and how they were going to go about it. And all of you all are definitely stand up when it comes to that. And I think they deserve to be commended for it. I really do, because you don't see it very often, especially when we're talking about African-American males. African-American males, and, and for all intents and purposes, the other Chris, Candace's husband, is an African-American male too, honey. More so than Candace. Anyway, and that was a dig. Moving on. So yeah, I thought that was very, very cool. Anyway, moving on. Ashley and Giselle, they separate out. The guys over here and the girls over here. Maybe that Ashley went right up in Miss Giselle. You hear me? Went right up in her and gave her very much a girl. You've been throwing backhanded shade. You want some other bullshit. And you doing a lot of kikiing, Ma. And she was like, well, she says, yeah, because I get the feeling you believe it, or you want to believe what these rumors are. She said, and Giselle, don't push Giselle into a corner, because that's when she becomes the mean girl. And she'll give you what you're looking for. And she did. She said, I do believe it. I said, I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. When you push her into a corner, you're going to get what you're looking for. So I was like, all right. She told her she did believe it. Then Candace kind of jumped in and told her, girl, I think you're being defensive. You know what I mean? And this thing and the other. And I'm just kind of like not listening to Candace, because Candace has, I said it last week, Candace got a hard on for the whole Michael Darby and Ashley Darby thing. She literally is reveling in it. She is totally guilty. She is really loving all of it. And she really is underlying wishing for the worst. If they were to lock Michael up, I think Candace would be sitting around with a whole, just a chuckle in her belly. I really do. That's a mess, but that's, yeah, Candace, okay, anyway, moving on. So the girls did tell her, we did feel like you weren't having a hard time with it. That's why anybody reaching out to you and carrying on. And you want, because that's what Ashley's like, she wanted them to baby her and coddle her. But girl, when we see you out, girl, you kikiing and laughing and like it ain't bothering you. So we were like, okay, girl, and you're the one, you were walking around making jokes about it. Well, you want us to be all bent out of shape, and you ain't bent out of shape. Damn, crazy ass fool. And now that's the truth. Now they told the truth with that, honey. And then, once it was on and popping, Giselle was still on the mean girl thing, couldn't get off of it. And she's like, so is Michael Darby not gay, or is he gay? See, she done went there. She just getting it all out there. And Ashley's like, no, he's not gay. I love him, and this, that, and the other. let me take y'all back to something that happened earlier. Honey, didn't Katie say, I just think she's stupid? Me too. Anyway, she's stupid or she lying to herself, one of the two. Okay, so let's go. This is the last thing. We gotta get out of here because I didn't talk long enough. Told y'all I felt like talking. Okay, so they bust us down. You know, bravo, Andy, you ain't shit. Bravo, Andy ain't shit, honey. I've seen production footage, baby. They might as well have just called this. The screen should have blacked out and it should have just come across and said Cloak and Dagger. Honey, listen, when they start rolling the footage and you hear when Michael actually brushed past the cameraman, he didn't just brush past the cameraman. You can't see what he did, but you heard the cameraman say, don't do that. Please don't do that. And it was very forceful. It was very much bothered. And it very much made me feel a certain type of way. And I'm not a heterosexual male by any means. Am I a heterosexual male? But I am the father of 2 heterosexual males. And it made me feel a definite certain type of way. I felt as though the cameraman, in his voice and his inflection, I felt as though this was a person speaking who felt violated. And it didn't leave me with a good feeling because, again, like I said, I am the father of 2 heterosexual males, and I don't ever want to hear one of my boys sound the way that cameraman sound. It bothered me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I really didn't. And that, I'm going to go back for a minute because there was a piece of a confessional where Karen said, I have been raped. And I feel a certain type of way. And I would say, why does she keep, like, you know, I was like, Karen, like, you're really throwing off some really deeper things onto this Michael thing, and why? And I'm wondering, had Karen seen this footage? Did Karen know about this footage before we were privy to this footage? Is that why she felt like that? Because I'm telling y'all, I'm being very honest with you. I felt a kind of way when I heard that man speak. I didn't like it. And then when they went further into the day, because now keep in mind, this person's production. So we're talking hours and hours later, because you couldn't leave your job. You're still at work. And you've basically been violated. The person that did it is still walking around in your presence. And you know how things stew? I can imagine you probably wanted to whoop his ass. And it's stewing, and then you see this like hours later, and then there's some pieces that's a little there where he said, where you see Michael say, I didn't touch your butt. I didn't touch your butt. Come on, let's get a drink. Like he was really trying to deflect. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm leaving on this. We're going to talk some more about this. This ain't going away. It is what it is. Another little piece before I go from a confessional early in the program where Giselle said, that's that privilege right there. That's that privilege and that money. Money talks, bullshit walks, and that's that privilege. And I was listening to the dialect. Is that cameraman black? And y'all know I don't play the black-white game. But is that cameraman of African-American descent? And on that, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later.